Hey, how's it going, everybody? And welcome to another exciting episode of Channel X, the only episode on Thursdays that starts the weekend early. I am your host, Tom Dog 247, and as always, I'm Tom Dog all day and Tom Dog all night. Ooh, baby, all right. So we got some things to talk about, plus the reason why I'm coughing. But before we do that, let's do the shout outs and everything that we do each and every week. Because my job. Starting with Absolute Talk with Josh Albert, my good buddy Josh. You can check out his podcast every week on the Podbean.com, absolutetalk.podbean.com. You can also and we'll give you all the links to where you prefer to listen to on on the to where you ever listen to podcasts and everything. Definitely a worth listening to. Sorry. Excuse me. So check them out. absolutetalk.podbean.com. You'll go to wherever you want to listen to podcasts, or you can download the Podbean app. It's a great app, and you'll love it too. Also, a big shout out to everybody at the Dorkening podcast team, including Super Retro Throwback Reviews and Retro Retro Octopus, Retro Retroctopus, or what? I forgot. I do apologize for the name. So I do apologize, but yeah, you can check out the Dorkening um, podcast network wherever you find your podcasts. They do a great job. They had an excellent job of what to whatever your pleasure is. Definitely worth checking them out. They do a phenomenal job. So kudos to all of you. And of course, big shout out to my good friend Vicky Van Goth, who does the spooky dolls, arts, and prints from Creep Me Out Creations. She does a phenomenal job. Definitely worth checking out. Um, you can follow her. You can check her work on Instagram, Vicky Van Goth, and you can buy her stuff over on eBay and Etsy. So definitely worth checking out. She does a phenomenal job. So kudos to you. Um, and big shout out to my friends over at Gamer Geeks and Gaming Pros and Fandom Life over on Facebook. We always have a lot of fun, and you'll have a lot of fun too. So check them out over on Facebook. Tell them Tom Dog sent you. Big shout out to Melly Playful over on YouTube. She does a wonderful job on her YouTube channel. Check her out. She does amazing. She does amazing work on live streams and everything. So check her out. Does a really good job. Excuse me. And of course, a big shout out to my good friends Marissa and David. How you guys doing? Hope you have a great weekend in light of what's been going on with the COVID virus all over the place and everything. So be safe out there and see what happens. So, and of course, this episode is brought to you by M&J Video Games and Collectibles. You can trade in your old video games and consoles, from retro video games, accessories, and systems. You can trade in your DVD box sets and Blu-rays. You can also trade in your sports cards and novelty items, as well as wrestling collectibles and autographed items, spanning from sports, wrestling, and actors. If you happen to be in the Connecticut area and you want to see this wonderful store, for directions, you can check out their website over at mjvideogamesandcollectibles.com. And of course, this episode is also brought to you by the She Bean Brewing Company here in Connecticut, home of the Downright Up Left YB. It's a wonderful beer. I love it just as much, and you will too. Check out their website over at shebeanbrewing.com, or you can follow them on the social media apps, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. So, alright, now that we got that out of the way, let's explain why I'm going to be coughing throughout this entire episode. It's a quick apology in my but one that I will be apologizing probably throughout this episode, so it's going to probably be an apology episode. Well, the good news is I don't have the coronavirus, thank God. And however, that doesn't mean that I'm not sick. Far from it. I am sick. What I have is what's called an upper respiratory infection. So, it is catchy, and because I'm confined to what I'm doing here, you won't have to worry about getting caught, getting affected with it, or whatever it is. But I'm going to try to go through this episode as best as I can. However, I might cut the episode short, if I have to. If my coughing does get worse. Right now, I'm currently drinking juice at the moment, so hopefully it will at least stabilize it for the time being. So probably when the cup is empty, so will be my live stream or my show. So big shout outs also too, I forgot to mention, we had some new subs that I forgot to mention. Big shout outs to them. If I can get them up here. So I welcome them to the Brill Pro family. Excuse me for scrolling down the list. This is a long list because notifications on my Twitter feed have been popping up like crazy. Mike the Fam and Nintendo 25. Those guys do amazing work as well on their YouTube channels. Go ahead and check them out and see what they got. You'll love them just as much as I do. So, welcome guys to the Brill Pro family. And the face hugger loves you too. Thank you for face hugging the subscribe button. So you're gonna be in for a wonderful treat. I assure you. And to all the new subscribers out there, welcome as well too. For those who I haven't mentioned, because I know I did get some new subscribers during my absence, and so shout outs to all of you, and again, welcome to the Brill Pro family. Oh,
Pro family. Um,
and I have to remember to turn down the microphone. Thank you, Mike the Fam. Yeah. So, like I said, welcome aboard. So, anyways, let's get on to what I was saying. Um, so yeah, I have an upper respiratory infection. So again, I do apologize for the random coughing that's going to happen periodically in this episode. So, but if it does get worse, I will cut the episode short. I will apologize for that. But also keep in mind too that this Saturday is going to be an episode of Wrestling Prime for all you wrestling fans out there. Got some more discussions to talk about because it's WrestleMania season. We got one more week before the 2-night event of WrestleMania. So apparently it's not going to be a for what it is and everything like that. So, but we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the card and some updates as to what's been going down, and and maybe the complete and hopefully a complete rundown of the Hall of Fame as well as the Wrestling Prime Hall of Fame. That's also going to be brought up as well too. So it's something that we got that we will be doing. I know I've been putting it off, but it's starting to become a tradition here um, to do that as well. But I'll post something when tomorrow when the time comes. So yeah. um, so so social distancing. Um, I apologize. Social distancing. The good and the bad. Well, there are some good. It is because of the COVID virus that's going on. And by the way, um, I'm not referring to it as a coronavirus because there's a lot of dumb people out there that that are confusing the coronavirus to the sale of the Corona beer. So let them be stupid, and but we all know what it is. But anyways, but for now on, we're gonna be referring to it as I'm gonna be referring to it as COVID, as how it should have been in the first place, instead of saying coronavirus because of stupid shit like this. Anywho, so yeah, yeah, it is sad. It is. So yeah, social distancing. I don't have a problem with it. Um, to be honest with you, there are some good things about it, but there are some bad things about it, especially because of the fact that there's always going to be that one person that's going to ruin it for everybody. And we all know who that is, and that is the robocalls and the bots, the so-called bots that are all over the place, that are just you know trying to sell you this, sell you that. You know, the scam ads that are flowing around, that's trying to get your identification. So, um, if you do have a VPN, just you know, definitely use that. Um, I like VPN. However, I don't really go into to stuff that would affect me. Even though I do have stuff on on my YouTube channel and whatnot. However, I don't back anything up. So so yeah. Even though I think I should. Even though I think I should. But anyways, excuse me. So so yeah, but the only thing I really aside from doing stuff like this and online gaming and stuff. Hey, there's a time because of this downtime that I'm currently on. Not my choice, by the way. It was nature's choice to say, hey, give him a upper respiratory virus. you know, let's fuck up his insides. So I've been watching Pornhub, to put it bluntly. But speaking of that, I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised too. Now, while we're in this discussion of Pornhub, that I've been seeing a lot of videos on there, um, that basically show, that's basically having people having sex while under quarantine with the coronavirus, and some of these are weird. I wish obviously I can't show you, and I don't even want to play the sound and everything like that because, you know, Susie Whackjob over on YouTube will get the wrong idea, and but you know, um, yeah, I've been flirting. I kind of have a crush on the CEO of YouTube, Susie, whatever her last name is. But but seriously, but yeah, there's been but there are videos up there that are on Pornhub where there's you know people with gloves and face masks, and they're having sex while allegedly being on the coronavirus. And I gotta tell you, some of these videos are actually pretty hot. I'm not gonna lie. They are. I'm not gonna lie. The models in there too are really hot as well too. You know, really, they really are hot. Absolutely. So yeah, easy, good buddy. But you know, it's one of those things, and but because of all the social distancing, I'm surprised that that cyber sex is not making a comeback. I mean, people still do things on online, but it's not catching on as it should be. Everybody's quarantined into their own house and everything, so they're probably away from their boyfriends and girlfriends or whatever, and from their partners and stuff like that. Exactly, exactly. He yells to the wife, "Well, wrap me up in plastic and grab the cam, love. We making money." But do it. I mean, you would honestly be surprised on how people are actually making videos on like normal people like you and me are actually making videos on Pornhub, because they do have Pornhub accounts, and they make home videos. So you know, coronavirus, if it could be the thing. you know. I mean, Tom Dog is a good porn name, but don't steal it. That's mine. I plan to go places with that. Still. but yeah, it is a crazy thing out there. And you know what? I don't mind, hey, by all means, do whatever you can. Um but with the social distancing, I'm surprised that cyber sex hasn't really caught on the way it should. And you know, but it is what it is, you know. But then again, you had some of these video channels like Periscope, where they still got, where the guys still have a hard time with grammar. They're still asking women to show their bobs. You know, you know. I mean, it's just sad. I mean, really, show us your bobs. Show us your bobs. Like, really? It's like, I'm surprised that, like, but I am glad to see that that the women on there are asking, are saying, hey, listen, listen. First of all, it's boobs, okay? If you want to see my boobs, just ask, but you're not going to because of the fact that I want you to buy my Snapchat. Yeah, that's another. Yeah, that's another one. Let's make Zex. Like, what is that? A dyslexic voodoo child or whatever? I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, I'm gonna put a Zex on you. I'm like, wait a minute, it's a hex. No, it's sex. But maybe actually Zex could be a combination of both Zen and sex. So it could be Zen sex. Your spirit. You're spiritually having sex with your partner with your mind. Maybe we haven't been giving Demolition Man enough credit. Maybe they're onto something. You never know. But but also at times I've been also occupying my mind on the Oculus Go, because I downloaded a burlesque video on there. A burlesque video on there, and I mean, I tell you, I really do have a thing for burlesque dancers, and yeah, they really are hot. And the one that I downloaded, but yes, sir. Okay, easy there, fella. Down, boy. So yeah, as you could tell, I'm a little perverted tonight because Tom Dog's in heat. Because yeah, I'm fucking sweating. It's like I don't even have the heater, and like I turned off the heater, and it's hot as hell in here. I don't know why. I'm probably gonna have to check this house out for corona. I wonder how you would have to. I wonder how that would be possible. Oh yeah, that's right. The gas line. check the furnace, which I have to anyways. Gotta see how much oil we have. I have to do that tomorrow probably. One of those things. It's one of those things. But but anyways. But yeah, social distancing. It could be good. If done well, and but also be safe out there, even when you're talking. And I noticed something. I was running some errands because I had to get some Robitussin, or generic brand of it. And I noticed that on one I was driving through this one area, and I noticed that the social distancing has been happening. I saw one person on one side of the street talk to another person on another side of the street, and it's weird. It really is weird. And but it's better to be safe than sorry. I've seen people talk from their doorways and everything like that, but still we still get the usual I don't know, those solicitors that they'll go like, "You want some solar panels? You want some solar panels?" Fuck you, get out of here. I feel like coughing on one of those guys and pretend I got the coronavirus. For real, the next person that does, I am going to do that. No lying either. I am going to do that. Be like, all right, you got corona. I mean, we all know that I have a respiratory infection, but they don't know that. So you take the good, you take the bad, you take the both, and there you have Tom Dog being an asshole. But a well-meaning asshole. That's right. Anywho, so yeah, but yeah, social distancing is not too bad unless if used properly, and gotta be holding a corona and do it. Actually, I did that I did that a few weeks ago because I was joking about it. So, so yeah. I also had some Lyme and said that, hey, the proper fixture for that was Lyme disease. So, yeah, I already did that again. I already did that. You got to go back a few episodes. That was a fun episode. It really was. This was when the coronavirus was just starting to make its way over to my neck of the woods. So yeah. This back when I was talking about Tom Hanks and his wife Rita Wilson that was in Australia with the coronavirus. By the way, they're actually excuse me, they are doing a lot better, by the way. So I still want to wish them well. Let's see. What else? What else do I have going on here? Oh yeah. So today, Nintendo. Before we talk about Nintendo Direct, I want to talk about some of the stuff that was supposed to happen yesterday, but which did, and involved me laughing my ass off because all over the thread there was like an alleged rumor going around that a Grand Theft Auto 6 was going to have that Rockstar was going to show off a trailer, a teaser trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6, and to be quite honest with you, it ain't going to happen, folks, because I mean, not saying that Grand Theft GTA 6 is going to happen, isn't going to happen, it's going to happen. We just don't know when. However, these morons need to stop leaking everything. And Mr. Boss for the win, I'm looking at you, you dumbass. He's a fucking idiot. I'm glad I unsubscribed him. I did that the other day, actually, when the alleged announcement was going to happen. And basically, everybody's fallen to the hype that, that they say, oh, GTA 6 is going to happen. GTA 6 is going to happen. All right, shut up. First of all, stop leaking information. It's going to happen. All you have to do is be patient. Can you do that, please? Thank you. I mean, this is how rumors get started. Someone makes a little noise, and you need to start, people need to start realizing that GTA, that Rockstar can only do so much, even now more than ever because of the coronavirus that's hitting down and everything. Well, sadly, E3 is not going to happen, and I do agree with you on that. I will be on that same boat. I'm on that same boat as well too. But there is going to be some sort of E3 event, but it's all going to be done outside of the actual E3 event. So that means kind of like what Nintendo does with their Nintendo Directs and Sony now with their State of Play. Microsoft's going to be doing that as well, and all the other ones. So everything's going to be all done virtually from wherever, and that's when it's going to happen. So that's how E3 is going to be this year. So I mean, I know it's sad that it has to come down to it, but yeah, that is one of my predictions right there. That there will be some sort of announcement regarding GTA 6 around E3. So, which I'm going to be keeping posted on which I'm going to be talking more about that once E3 does roll around. So I'm going to be doing my predictions special and my E3 week. So it's going to be very it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. So yeah, I'll keep everybody posted when it comes down time for it, and give the rundown of what the schedule is going to be for that week. So yeah, but seriously, enough with these with this false accusations these false statements that GTA 6 is going to happen. You'll know when it's going to happen when Rockstar announces it first. This is why this is why they keep things quiet like this, because you got assholes. You even got assholes like Fernando saying, "Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, look at what I got. I got GTA 6. Rockstar was nice enough to give me a copy on Fernando." Fuck out of here. I mean, really. Jesus Christ. Thank God I never subscribed to that asshole, but I did see his videos, and he's still doing stuff like that. For real. But seriously, folks, wait until Rockstar says something first instead of making these making this clickbait information that's not happening. Especially you, Mr. Boss for the win, and I hope you're watching. I actually saw his. I actually happened to came upon his recent video that he did earlier. And he was saying how some of the a couple of the Twitter guys, one of them being Tezfunds too, was kind of upset, and he read his tweet on his stream, and he was like, how is that him being upset? He wasn't being upset. Tez wasn't even being upset. He was just laughing at the people like Mr. Boss for the win on speculating on something that's not true. It'll happen when it'll happen. Relax. Shut the fuck up. Move on. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shut the fuck up and move on to the next topic. Good, wonderful segue. One that I cannot ride. Can't even balance a checkbook. How am I going to balance on one of those goddamn things? I can't even laugh. I can't even drink now because I'm laughing too hard. So, anywho, we got the so Nintendo Direct happened earlier today, and it was actually a very good one. Very good one. They had some. They gave out an update on announced about the update that happened on Animal Crossing. We'll get to that in a little bit. They talked about some about a Bravely Default 2 coming, as well as some 2K games coming to the Switch, including the BioShock trilogy, the Borderlands collection, and there was another one too. I forgot what it was. I do apologize for that. But yeah, that is going to be a very they look very well done, and looking forward to seeing those on the Switch. So so if you happen to be a fan of those games, go ahead and check them out. They're really good, and so yeah, they're a must get. So they announced of course they announced the update for the upcoming update for Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is Isle of Armor, which is coming out in June, and then of course the other one being I forgot the other one, but yeah, that one's coming out in the fall. So they gave us some more information on what's to be expected in the Isle of Armor, and it looks really, really cool. So if you guys are a fan of Pokemon Sword and Shield, go ahead and check those out because those are really, really good. They also announced a new fighter, kind of, for Super Smash Brothers, and it's going to be a character from ARMS. That's going to be the new, but we're going to know more about it later on, when it comes time for it. So that's going to be the newest the newest entry in the new Challenger Pack, to the new Fighters Pass. So, and of course, now's your chance to get the Fighters Pass when it comes. Now that it's available, and you can check out those fighters. They got some fighters coming out for that pack. The sixth one coming out, I believe, in June, that they said. So, but yeah, it looks really good. Also, they remaster. There's going to be a Panzer Dragoon remaster. It looks very, very good. Looks very, very. And the Xenoblade Chronicles is also going to get a remaster as well. As well as another Xenoblade game as well coming out. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when that comes available. So looks really, really good. And now let's talk about Animal Crossing. Now, Animal Crossing, Animal Crossing has been making a lot of noise lately. Has been making a lot of noise lately since its release last week, along with Doom Eternal, which I still have not gotten yet. Shame on me. But I had a choice between Animal Crossing and Doom Eternal, and I went with the latter, and I'm glad I did. Not to saying that Doom Eternal isn't good. It's far from it. It's actually getting some pretty good reviews, but not as good as Animal Crossing New Horizons, which has actually been dominant lately because primarily because of the kids being home from school. Um, there's been some. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I saw your I saw one of the live streams there. It does look really really good. I do have to pick it up, which will make me have um yeah, I saw those. I saw the video. I saw the videos. You did a very good job. Did a very very good job. Um, and I still have yet to get Doom Eternal. And when I do, which means my collection of excuse me, of Doom games will be complete, because in this pack right here is the Slayers collection has Doom 1, has Doom 2, Doom 3, and Doom 2016. And I recently downloaded Doom 64, which I also love, and it's a very definitely it was definitely worth it. So but yeah, Doom Eternal is going to be the next game that I get. I plan on getting it tomorrow. Because I have something planned for one of my Tom Dog plays. Um, Now that I'm on, once I get Doom Eternal, I'm going to be doing uh, a Doom marathon. Um, Doom marathon, I guess you could say. And yeah, it's gonna be pretty. It's gonna be really really good. It's gonna have, of course, all the games. I'll be playing all the games, of course. Um, like one game after another, which means one I'll be doing Doom, and then Doom 2, Doom 3, and then Doom 64, of course, in chronological order, I guess you could say. Um, so it is going to be very interesting when I finally do you know when I finally do Doom these Doom games. So so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And if you haven't picked up the Doom Slayers collection, do so. It's gonna you get a poster and a controller skin. They actually look really nice. They both look really really nice. So definitely it's a worth checking out. Um, but yeah, once I get Doom Eternal, I'm going to be doing a Doom Marathon. I'm going to be calling it that. It's going to be huge. It's going to be really really huge. Um, streaming one game after another, and it's going to be great. So I'm actually looking forward to it. Um, I do want to plan on doing something for Halloween, but actually I got something else in mind for Halloween this year. Um, because an idea was running through my head during the Dorkvania for Dork when they did their when the Dorkening did the Dorkvania. It gave me an idea of doing something for Halloween this year, which is a tradition that I have to play some sort of scary game. But I'm taking a break. I'm taking a break because last year I played a scary game, and everybody knows what it is. But it was actually really funny. It was actually really funny. So I did some, but I didn't just do one. I did like a combination. But this year I'm going to be having my own little Castlevania um, marathon, and that's a teaser for this Halloween. So I figured since I have um what the hell I lost my train of thought. Um but now since I have that I brought my Tom Dog Plays live stream. I know it's cheesy. I could pretty much play any scary game that I want at any time. Um, More frequently during the Halloween, during October, during the month of October. But we'll see what happens and everything like that. But I definitely do want to play at least do a Doom marathon and give me my give me my experience from the Doom games, especially the classic one. So it's going to be good. So I'll keep everybody posted when that comes on. But anyways, going back to Animal Crossing, very good game, very very good game, and it's actually my pick of best game of 2020. A lot of people are going to hate me for it. A lot of people are going to hate me for it. It's like, what about Doom Eternal? First of all, I haven't played Doom Eternal yet, so I'm sure it's going to be number 2 on my list. But still, Animal Crossing has been, there's been talks about it since its release. It's you got to understand, there's a lot of kids at home right now, because of the quarantine that's going on all over the place, and you can't help that. And like I said earlier, with social distancing, it's become the game to help us during to be with us for the while we are social distancing. And I've read reports on Twitter that there people have been, because there's couples out there that couldn't get married. They're getting married through on they're actually throwing weddings on Animal Crossing. So you can be a part of you could be a stranger and you can go to this wedding, and you can give them gifts or make gifts or whatever, and it's such a nice it's such a nice thing. It's such a nice thing. One other fact too. I know I have to back out. I will back out of this video because of it. And I'm gonna back out of what I was doing here. I have to show you a picture. Now that I'm... Oh, what am I doing? I'm gonna go on my page. There we go. Okay. So there's a character on here. And there's a character on here that I have to share with everybody. And the characters, some may have heard about this, and some of you may have not. Her name is Audie. Now, she's a wolf-like character, and I do apologize for the mirror image on there. But yeah, her name is Audie, and there's a reason behind that character, which makes it very, very interesting. Which makes it very, very interesting. There's been an Animal Crossing player for years. Her name was Audrey, and she would play Animal Crossing with her grandson nonstop. And whenever he would visit her, and they would have that moment together, and you know, they would have their own stuff and everything, and just join in and everything like that. And um, she recently passed away. Because they were playing New Leaf, like crazy, and it's very heartfelt too. It's very emotional. Um, she left this emotional she left something emotional for him before, kind of like the last things before she passed. And I forgot where it was where I found it. And I know I should have saved it too because it was a very good story. And but I do remember reading that article after wiping the tears of how emotional that was. She The creators of Animal Crossing heard about this, and they were nice enough to give her to make a character based on her. And the character was, of course, Audie was the one that I and that's the theory of it all, I guess you can say. And it was a nice tradition dedication to her, and the very emotional. And the and so I managed to catch to add, to have that as a neighbor on my island. And as you saw from the picture, she she's a part of that now. And it was very touching, very very touching. And if you ever have her on your island, um, for those who have New Horizons, really pay close attention to that, and spend some time with that character, because when I first saw that, and I looked back at it, and then I read the article again, I was like, oh my god, that's her. I'm like, holy shit. And so it was very very touching. And like I said, you know so yeah, kudos once again to the creators of Animal Crossing. This game came out at the right time. This came out at the right time, and you check that definitely have to check that out. Um, I'm trying to figure out a way to live stream it, because I want to play a little bit of that, but I got some figuring out to do. I guess you could say. And I'm being distracted by Periscope here. I guess you could say. Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's one of these numbers. All right, you're getting put away there, fella. You've been popping up so many times in this video. I'm gonna get demonetized, like I'm getting paid for this anyway. I was once monetized until YouTube decided to demonetize me because I wasn't making enough. And they are right. I was making 2 cents per video. No bullshit. I was actually making 2 cents per video. Embarrassing as that may is. Embarrassing as that is. So. Um. So yeah. I also have another live stream coming up in on the 1st of April. So be on the lookout for that. I'll keep everybody posted. Everybody loves my videos on money's money. Yeah, yeah. It's a great way for them to throw their 2 cents at me. You know, it's a great way to throw their 2 cents in. You know what I mean? Boo! Get off the stage! We don't want to hear no dad jokes. I'm not a father. Still, boo! Oh, I'm having so much fun here. And rightfully so, because I love doing this. I don't care what anybody says, you know. I have a buddy that I have a buddy who works with me, and said, "Oh, you only got like 1 or 2 people watching your show. You get better views." There you go. Well, we got someone that loves dad jokes. We got someone who likes dad jokes. But apparently the other one didn't because the other guy left. But it was like, oh great, he's doing dad jokes now. Oh crap. I gotta get out of here. I thought he was cool. I'm gonna unsubscribe. Let me see. Am I subscribed to him? Yeah. Fuck the face hugger. I'll take my chances. I'm gonna become a xenomorph. Anywho. Anywho, where was I? Yeah. I'm on here. So but anyways, I love doing stuff. I love doing this stuff, and a buddy of mine was only saying, "Oh, you only get like 2 people you got like maybe 1 or 2 people watching your show, anyways." But it's like, well, the aftermath comes after. It's like, but still, but watching it live, you only get like 1 or none, and I'm like, so what? As long as I get some sort of audience, I was like, I don't care. It's like. I used to do this shit when I was on cable access, and yeah, I used to got a lot of a lot more popularity there and everything because it was happening. It was local, and hundreds of maybe thousands of people would watch every week. That was a thing. And it's like I love let me tell you something. I've been on YouTube now since 2012, and I'm not going back because doing shows like Channel X and Wrestling Prime, it's taken me back to those times when I was on cable access, and I love doing stuff like this. I love it. I absolutely love it. There's like, that's how it is, and like a lot of people, I mean, maybe it hasn't caught on, but I'm not gonna bitch and moan and say, why isn't people subscribing? You get some people out there that says, why aren't you people subscribing to me? And it's like, blah blah blah. And I'm like, you just got to work hard on it, and I learned that the hard way because I was actually in that group starting out. It's like, why isn't people doing this, blah 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 blah. And still I don't know what I'm doing. But I don't care. I'm doing, it's something that I love doing stuff like this. And my ball is dusty. My microphone. Not. Never mind. But yeah, it's one of those things that I love doing, and whether I have a certain amount of people watching me, whether I have a certain amount of people subscribing to me, whether I have nobody doing neither. I'm still gonna do what I love, and that's why my buddy doesn't really quite understand is that it doesn't matter. I'm still gonna do what I do because I love doing what I do. You know, and a lot of times people will say, well, why don't you call you need to call it quits because it's not profiting. It's like neither when I never got anything when I was doing cable access. So what difference does it make if I do it on here or do it on cable access? It doesn't matter. I just enjoy doing what I do best, and that's making a complete ass of myself in front of a camera. you know, I mean, and it takes balls to do what I do. And it's like I said once before, back in my cable access days. I was like this. I was like, it's like I'm Miracle Whip. I ain't changing a goddamn thing. I would say that too. I would get in trouble, but it is what it is. But I am glad that that Wrestling Prime does get a bigger response because you know because back then Wrestling Prime wasn't what back when I was on cable access. Wrestling Prime was making was also was my first cable access show that I used to do, and now it was a huge deal. And then when I started doing backyard wrestling, it started to taper down a little bit, but I didn't care. I still did what I did. Then when I made the transition from Wrestling Prime to Channel X, I love it because of the fact that when I was doing Channel X on cable access, I had a lot more fan service. I was to the teenager adult group, to the teen to the high school kids and up. um it was for it was technically for adults. And I did a couple of fashion shows because of Channel X. You think Wrestling Prime would have given me fashion shows? No, of course not. Though I'm the only show that got nominated for every single award in my district and not one win a single trophy. So, and even though we did a lot of things that were um noteworthy because we were technically Wrestling Prime was the first show to introduce split screen. No other cable access show in my area never did that. We were the first ones to do so. We were the first ones to give you my head being put through a wall. No other show did that, and still to this day, no other show has done that. But to this day, everybody still talks about it. They ask how my head is doing, everywhere I go. They're like, "How's your head?" and everything like that. And it's like, I remember when you did this and this and this. And, I love telling stories. I have a buddy that works at a local bar that I love to go to. I've talked about the bar that I go to numerous times, the Brooklyn Cafe in my town. And he works there, and whenever I show up there, we would tell stories about how much of a fan he is and how he videotaped some of my shows and thank him for not selling them. you know But he says if he ever does, he will share the profits. Better. I want 50. I want 50% of all your earnings. But we've had a good time. But yeah, he loves my company and everything like that. And a big shout out to him. And I feel bad for him right now because with the quarantine, his bar had to close temporarily, and until this quarantine period is over with. And he's struggling to get by, and I said, tell him, I said, listen, do what you got to do, and then when you come back, we're having a beer. So, and if there's any single ladies that come in, tell them that Tom Dog's getting hooked up. So, yeah. So yeah, I need to get laid. I really do. Yeah, and that's another thing. Whenever I said I wanted to get laid, like in that complete sentence, I couldn't say that. I literally cannot say that. I was like, what? A lot of people say the word laid. Exactly, giggity. Oh, I said that a lot too. But I couldn't. I couldn't. They were like, listen, you can't say laid on the show. However, there was a time that I did. We were doing a New Year's Eve bash, and they were handing out these Hawaiian leis. And when I got one, and I wore it on the show, on the front there, I said, look at this. This is the first, it's like, look at this. And this is the first time I gotten laid on camera. Look at that. So, was that dad joke number 5 now? I don't know. It was funny. It was funny when I said it. So yeah. But, I had a good time. Always had a good time, and there were some boundaries that I could say and not say, or what I can do and not do. But yeah, I was really, really horrible. People actually referred to me as the Diet Coke of Howard Stern. And and I'm sorry, it's like I cannot duplicate or replicate anything that Howard, and I told him, I said, I can never duplicate or replicate what Howard Stern does. I am what I am, and he is what he is. And it is what it is. I actually said it like that too. And but yeah, and I told this one story how I pissed off my favorite story of all time coming from that is what I used to tell the story of the time when I was working for Stop and Shop, which was a local grocery store for those who aren't in the Connecticut area. They basically had I was in the seafood department. I was working in the seafood department, and this lady comes up, and she was like middle-aged and crazy. She kind of looked like one of those ladies that that preach the word of God. I'm not saying she wasn't Jehovah's Witness or anything. Nothing from that. No, she was not. But she looked like she was religious. In a Catholic sort of way. And she was like, can you take I need to see can you give me the manager? And I was like, well, he's at a meeting right now. Is there something wrong or something I can help you with? And she was like, I need you to free these lobsters. And I was like, I'm sorry, you can't get, I can't give you a lobster for free. I mean, I can get in trouble. He's like, no, you don't understand. We need to set all these lobsters free. These lobsters, she was giving me this Oscar-nominated performance of a lifetime that would have gotten Susan Lucci her first Grammy. I mean, her first Emmy. Um, Before she actually got her first Emmy. She was giving out the Susan Lucci type performance and about how these lobsters were being treated in these tanks and everything, and they were just so, she was just going on and on and on and on and on about this, and she was like, tears were coming down her eyes and everything like that. I wanted to be a dick, and I wanted to be a dick and said, well, the lobsters here are perfectly fine, I treat the lobsters treat me very well here, you know what I mean? I would have scared the shit out of her, but I did something better. I did something better that was even more douchey than which was more assholish than doing the fake finger thing. Which actually, by the way, that did happen. I was grabbing a lobster for a customer, even though I'm segueing. But those little pinchers that they have underneath their actual claws. But yeah, they grab one of them grabbed onto my hand, grabbed on and was crushing down. Actually no, it was the bone crusher, the crusher claw, the one that kind of looks like an inbred's teeth, like the inside of an inbred's mouth, that sort of thing, that sort of mouth, the crushing. And it was grabbing on, grabbing on, grabbing on. And apparently what had happened, he got into, from what had happened, a lobster must have gotten into a fight with another one and got caught somewhere and got cut. It must have snapped off. So, yeah. So that's what happened. I didn't want to sell that to a customer because, the claws were out and everything. Didn't want. It's like I'll just steam it, and that was actually the same day that it happened, because I actually put that in the steamer, which led to that. Soon as the steamer was done, I took the lobster out and said, okay, can we start with this one? I actually showed her the lobster. She which was completely red red as the X on the logo there. And she was horrified. She was like, oh my God. And she stormed out of the store. I love telling that story because the manager, shortly after that, the supervisor came out and said, what was that all about? There was an animal activist that wanted to set these lobsters free. And I showed her the steamed lobster. I said, we could start with this one. I actually did. I actually said that. I say, you did not just do that. I said, yes, I did. My God. I mean, he was laughing and was like, Jesus Christ, Tom. And the joke would have been a lot funnier if I had a prop lobster. We did when I had my cable access show, and I was like I was doing like this cheap B-52s knockoff. It was like prop lobster. Ding, 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 ding. It was the funniest. It was like the funniest thing ever. More funny when it happened and when it actually happened, and me telling the story a lot better than what I did now. But it was so hilarious. It was the funniest thing. However, a lot of people did not find that funny. Instead, they decided to call the studio. Now, there's two different lines at the studio. There's two different lines to reach to. One to go live on the air, and the other to go into the back and say, "Hey, listen, what time is this show on? Blah 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 blah. That sort of thing," or like in any questions or comments, or concerns. That phone was ringing off the hook, and it was miles. It was in one of the offices, and I heard that phone ring, and very faintly, because I have it on camera, you can hear it in the background, and I was like, "Oh shit." I did not, because I know which phone rings, because when it sounds closer, um, that means that it's a call. That means there will be a call for the caller to talk live on the air. If it sounds a little faint, that means that that's the phone in that's the office phone. So the office phone was ringing nonstop. It said, "Get him off the air! Get him off the air!" How horrible was that? It was like he's very horrible. He was very horrible, and you know, it was like I was very offended by that. I was very offended by that. I'm like, and these were for church advocates and their you know church animal rights groups, of course, were actually the ones that called. And it was like, I heard what happened. I heard what he said on the show. I am mortified of what he needs to get off the air now. And the guy that was in charge of the building was like, he didn't do nothing wrong. You know, because even he was laughing. He was even the guy that was in charge of the building at the the guy in charge. My boss at the time. He was laughing his ass off. He was laughing his ass off, and because it was not. I wasn't planning on telling a bit like that, but the bit turned out wanted to be the best talked bits ever, and it was one of the funniest, and I loved it. I loved it. And then I got to the talking about and another one group that hate so animal rights groups hate me. Another group that hates me is of course the Catholic Church, because I say nothing but bad things about them. I'll tell you this story. There was I read an article in the newspaper, and I had a newspaper with me, which is shocking because I don't normally have newspapers on when I go on there. Because another show has a newspaper on, and he reads the newspaper on the show constantly, which becomes story time for him. Whole different show. Maybe we'll talk about that later. But there was a time, there was a time where the Catholic Church was getting in trouble. Still to this day, they're always in trouble with the kids being molested by the priests and everything like that. The whole shebang bang. So I read this article on air live. Mind you, this is all live. And I was talking about how there was a recreation center that was being funded by the Catholic Church, by some Catholic church. And I thought it was a good idea. They were saying all these things. It was a good what they would have. They would have like a basketball court, ping pong table, some snacks if they if you wanted to, some Bible friendly games, Bible friendly arcade games, you name it. Books, of course, and some stuff to do, activities, puppet shows, magic shows, you name it. A nice little recreation center. I ruined it by saying the following: "Wow, what a great way to lure in little kids, huh?" The office phone started ringing as soon as I started laughing. The office phone is like, "Get this off the air," and like, "Get him off the air," and it was like because they were like, I'm offended, I'm offended how he would say such a thing, blah 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 blah, and everything. It was I was like, yes, it was like, again, there was one of those times where I pushed the envelope, and I'm like, and then there was this one, and then on that same episode, I was grinding my pelvis on the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition with Tyra Banks on the cover. It was like making a huge thing. So I was dancing a little bit, grinding my pelvis, on there, holding the magazine near my, pelvic region. And people got offended by that, and this is from grown ass men who would read stuff like Playboy and Hustler, and in the swimsuit edition, and they got offended by what I did. And so the next week I went on the show. I went on a show with a remote control. And throughout the whole entire episode, I gave a whole entire instruction, like one of those instructional videos. Yeah, those instructional videos on how a remote control works for the whole 28 minutes. It was I had the whole crew, including my boss, standing at applause for what I did. I actually had an applause after the camera was off. It was awesome because there was a lot of talk, there was a lot of criticism on my show at that time about how, we need to get him off the air, this and that, And then I was like, you know what? I've had enough. This is how a remote control works. So I gave a full 28-minute lecture on how a remote control works. And it was hilarious. Not only was it hilarious, but educational as well. And I got a standing ovation for it at the end of the show when the camera was off. And in between, we had some calls. They were applauding me on how good that episode was. They were like, "Damn, that took a lot of balls." And say, "You damn right." I did a couple of fashion shows because of how successful my show was doing. It was a good show. Those shows were very special to my heart. And but the fashion shows what really did it for me, because people still talk about the fashion shows. Everyone is still Googling about the lingerie that was shown those nights. And this was from an adult video store that we did this. This was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. One of the videos I participated, and a little bit of a banana moment happened, and to cover that up so that I wouldn't get kicked off the air, I had to carry the one of the models, like I was carrying her on the threshold, and actually had a crush on her, and I wonder how she's doing to this day, because I do talk about her. I bring her up a lot, and she was actually a really cool sport for doing that. And and the lingerie that she was wearing is something that you would wear on your honeymoon, so it made perfect sense to carry her on the threshold, among other things happening downstairs. But it was one of those good times that I do like. Now on here, I can't really do that. I can't, and I hate that. I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to say, "Hey, I want to do a fashion show on my show," and be like, "Yeah, but I can't because of the copyright claims. If I play a certain music, it's like." I say, "Well, you don't really have to do that. You can just play the music that on the presets of what's on the edits." But I don't want to go through all that. I want to play. I want to play the typical Kenny G songs that's being played on a lot of fashion shows lately. Not in that you would see in like Paris or New York or whatever. With the techno music. And and the models look like they're pissed off. They're like, no facial expression. No facial expression. They're just. But yeah. Oh, we got a special announcement from the Hamburglar. Rabba, 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 rabba. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you. He wanted to make his presence felt. So, well, on that note, I got to call it a night here. Thank you all so much for tuning in, for those who did tune in tonight. Thank you all for, and plus, another thank you going on here. Oh, wait a minute. Michael Mattis has subscribed to me. Thank you. I think I said your name right. I apologize if I said your name wrong. Oh yeah, Burnout is going to be coming. There's also BioShock, Borderlands, and Burnout is coming to the Switch. So yeah, but yeah, but thank you for all those who have subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much. Let's see. So yeah, that's pretty much all the time I have for today. Be sure to follow me on. Thank you, Mike the Fan. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You can follow me on Twitter at TomDog247. For those who have missed tonight's episode, you can check it out as soon as the camera is off. For those who are new, thumbs up the video if you like it. Comment down below what game you're looking forward to seeing on the Switch. That I meant. Are you from the games that are coming out on the Switch? Are you excited? And also to social distancing. What are your thoughts on social distancing? Yeah, we'll do that one instead. I think that one's a lot better. Anyways, what do you think? What's your thoughts on social distancing? I'm having a hard time talking. It's bad enough I was able to control my coughing throughout this episode, which I'm going to be doing a lot of after the camera turns off. But but yeah, what are your thoughts on social distancing? What's your take on that? And ringy dingy that bell so you can stay notified on what I'm going to be doing next, and be a part of the Brill Pro family by face hugging that subscribe button. And we will see you all again here next week. Same Tom Dog time, same Tom Dog channel X. Until then, this is Tom Dog saying take care, so long, peace.